Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crank and with That Metal Station. And today I'm having a chat with Gothic metaler out of Canada, Herr Nox. Absolutely loving the album Where Shadows Fade, which releases not only digitally, but I think the physicals and everything comes out today, the 26th of February as well.
It's coming out on the limited edition vinyl, gold vinyl. So if you want to pick that up, it's on BandCamp.
Yeah, I love vinyl, man. It's good to see the reinvigoration of the vinyl in the metal scene and, you know, the rock community. I love seeing vinyl, man. I went out and built a killer collection in 2020. That was my main aim, to get a record player and build up some vinyl since I couldn't go and see bands and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love vinyl too. I think it's a perfect way to listen to an album because you're kind of, instead of having an MP3 playing, you kind of have to sit there and wait for the vinyl to play and for each side to flip sides. So you're forced almost to listen to the album with more depth and. That's I think that's the best way to listen to an album.
Yeah, well, music for me, music is life. So I'm an atheist, so music for me is religion. So it's kind of a religious experience for me, grabbing out a record, putting in an album, and just going through this whole process of listening to an album, especially ones like Where Shadows Fade, and going from track one right through to the final track. You know, when you grab a record out, you're like, I'm going to listen to this whole album.
Yeah, because and usually albums are intended to be listened through in one go. So you put the album, you start from song one, you go to the end of the album, and that's the way. At least for my album, it was conceived as a whole experience. So you just you had to listen to all the tracks to for the album to make sense, and because it kind of goes into a lot of different music genres and different music styles. And so since there are multiple styles, sometimes it might feel out of place if you just listen to one track, but in the context of the album, it kind of makes sense. So that's like the whole experience that I wanted to give with this album.
It's a ripping album. Can you tell me about I want to ask first, how did this project first start for you? Because this is the first time I've come across you. I come across, and I was just literally blown away by this album. And I went back and checked out the Stargazer one from 2018. You have an amazing voice and you're a great musician. Can you tell me a little bit about this project, Herr Nox, and how it originally started?
Well, I was first in a goth metal band, Dalen Complex, which was from my hometown. Yep. And I started in that band as a vocalist in 2007. And that's where I met Lindsay Schoolcraft from, ex-Cradle of Filth, and now she's with Antiqva. And I met her on MySpace, and that kind of developed, we developed some kind of relationship throughout the years, and we wanted to do a tour with my previous band, and that's how I met her. And after I left that band, I kind of went into an hiatus. I wanted to take some break from the music. I had some not throat but sinus issues, so I had some trouble singing and doing live gigs and all that stuff. So I took a little break, and then in 2017, I just said, I'm doing an album, a one-man band, and I just want, it was an EP first, but I said to myself, I want to get back in there and try to do whatever I want, no kind of having to compromise and having to deal with. It's not. I mean, it's great to be in a band, but to be in a band, you have to compromise a lot. You have to say, all right, well, we'll get rid of that riff, or we'll do that, or we'll do this, and so at the end, it kind of. It's not a diluted product. It's like a product of multiple persons, but
different visions all kind of coming in there. Yeah,
exactly. So I wanted to just explore and do I don't know, I wanted the world that I had in my head to come true for once, you know, to become a reality, to make music that was really myself, that it was like the expression of what I am and what I wanted to do as an artist. So I didn't want to impose limits, to put labels on my stuff. I just wanted to you know, just create and just whatever it might be. I don't know. I'll just do the songs and I'll just try to make them the best I can. So and so that's when in 2017 I released a small EP, just like 3 songs, and that'll go from there. I just like, I love the process, and I said to myself, like, I want to do a whole album. That's when I started to work on STARGAZER, and then it led me to Where Shadows Fade, which I just released. So that's like, yeah, that's just like the love of composing and trying to create something, and being all self-taught in all that stuff, because you know I learned how to produce albums, to mix albums, to just so I could work on that project. So it's like everything that you see, that you hear, is just myself. So if you don't like it, well, it's all my fault. And if you like it, well, that's great, that's cool too. But you know, it was just like I wanted this project to be like totally what I had in mind. So that's how it came about. Yeah.
Yeah, and working as a solo project as well, it's completely you, your vision, your music as well. And whereas a band, as you were saying, you have to do those little compromises. So when you started this, it would have reinvigorated probably your love for music. And then you probably would have been like, I've got all these songs in my head that I wanted to do that I couldn't do because they weren't right for that project. But now I can bring them over onto Herr Nox and work them over here.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, I had like lots of stuff, and a lot of I love to do arrangements, and you know, I listen to classical music, I listen to new wave, I listen to like goth music from the 80s. I listen to some grunge, I listen to I love David Bowie, and so that's just the experimentation and the no limit, just like I'm creating, and it's gonna be whatever is going to be. So it's that was the whole process. And you know, it's kind of hard to find bandmates that have that same vision. There are a lot of people like this in the world, but I mean I don't know, most people more so in the metal genre are, you know, they like a certain style, and they want to be like, well, we'd like to create an album that's like a Cannibal Corpse, or we'd like to do some Suffocation, you know, type of metal. So they all have that ideal band, and they want to do something like that. But I just wanted to do like whatever the hell it's going to be. You know, it's all out there. So I'll just do whatever I want, and well, that's the foundation of that project. Yeah,
exactly. And I noticed this genre, they've got to put names on everything, don't they, on all sorts of metal. So the Gothic genre, as they say it, there's been some great albums out there, I know.
Yeah, and there's a lot that just like that label, goth metal. But you know, I think, I don't know, I had like Jørgen Munkeby from Shining, who did some saxophone. It was, he sent me killer tracks, and that all went to I don't know, like the song oh man, I forgot the title, but you know, the instrumental on the album is just like something like it feels like you're in a bar, and it's like a smoky room, and you have that like super melodic and emotional saxophone playing. And to me, that was like, it brought me back to some, you know, whole David Bowie. And so I mean, they say goth metal, some people call it goth metal, but to me it's like the way I see it, it's like you could, it goes into so many different genres that you know, people could like it from everywhere. I mean, I don't care where you're from. If you like, I don't know, if you like more like new wave with some synthesizers and stuff like this, you might find something you like in that album. So
You
I
will.
mean, I think it's for everyone, you know.
You will. And as you're talking about Jorgen Munkeby in there, then the sax solo he does in there is just unreal. We'll talk about him first. How did he get onto this project? Because I've seen his name and I've recently spotted his name up in the Me and That Man. And as you were saying, the work he's done with The Shining, he's done a little bit of work with Emperor, all sorts of stuff. Most metalheads should know who he is. So how did he get onto this project?
Yeah, well, he was like one of my favorite musicians ever. I love him from The Shining, which is his main band, and love their album like called Black Jazz, and that's like one of my greatest albums of all time. It's just so crazy. It's like progressive black metal-ish stuff with saxophone, and it's an awesome album. So you know, when I started my solo project, I said to myself, if one day I can work with that guy, that would be so awesome. And so I talked to him. I think it was on Messenger, on Facebook. I sent him a message and told him, well, I'm working on an album. Would you like to maybe put some tracks on there? With I'd like to have some saxophone. And he said, like, yeah, sure. And I mean, that's basically how it came about. So, and I was like so happy. I just couldn't process the fact that I had that guy on my album, and it was so great. And I mean, he's so professional. He's so funny. He's like a real cool guy. So it was a really nice experience. And also, I mean, first, I told him I have 2 songs for you, so if you can like put some tracks on there. And I told him like the first track has a kind of blends with the second one. So so he told me, well, what's the first track? So send it to me. So he put some saxophone on that track too. So I ended up with like 3 tracks with him on. So I mean, it was he's such a cool guy, and so it was great to have him on the album.
Yeah, and those sax bits and those tracks just they sit in with you, don't they? It just kind of really resonates musically, and it just fits so damn bloody well. I love hearing sax in metal tracks and tracks like this. It just, I know for me, I'm a fan of jazz as well, and I find myself listening to classical music, and you know, even a mad metalhead like me can't listen to metal all the time. So when I hear these jazz influences and the sax bits and the things like that in metal, it feels so good to me. It sounds so good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love like stuff like Frank Zappa or the Mahavishnu Orchestra. So I was like, look, man, I'm sending you those tracks. Do whatever you want. So and basically the first takes that he sent me, I said, all right, that's perfect. That's all I needed. You know, it was just like 1 take and that's it. So I just put them in the songs, and I kind of not rework the songs, but try to mix and, you know, fix the frequency so everything blends together. But I mean, it just like, it was perfect for those songs. And especially the intro for Where Shadows Fade, it was like so crazy. I was like, man, it sounds like, I don't know, some kind of jazzy Rush songs. And then it kind of goes into a ballad. So, I mean, that's what I wanted to do to have. I wanted to have like some surprises and stuff that goes into different directions and stuff that kind of surprises the listener. So you don't like listen to a song that goes like from point A to point B, and it's like almost the same thing all over the song. I wanted to like have like surprises like coming up every once in a while to you know, keep the interest. And so and I mean, Jørgen was perfect for that. With his saxophone, it was like, that's exactly what the songs needed.
Yeah, it came out well. And I like that you said, I had 2 tracks for him, and you said, send me another one if that one leads into that, and it does. And you were talking about at the start how listening to whole albums, you got to kind of go through as a story with the album as well, from start to finish. And it does feel like that Doomsday does lead into Where Shadows Fade. And if you listen to the whole album, you do pick up subtle little nuances like that when people do make whole albums. Because I did have this conversation with another musician just 2 days ago, and he was talking about listening to whole albums and these subtle little nuances you don't get if you're just going to play one song or then go to the next or whatever, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to have like singles coming up, and you're like, oh, to give an idea of what the sound of the album can be. But I mean, to listen to the full album, like probably all artists intended to. So it is like the way to listen to an album to me. So you know, going from the first track to the end of the album is the way to do it. And you know, I think that when artists make an album, they have some intention, and they want to give you like a story, and they want to you know, carry the listener throughout, you know, some kind of voyage, and they want them to you know, I like, for myself, I wanted to put the story, I don't know, I'll just say this, but I wanted to have like, it goes through some motions, so I carefully plan the tracks, like that track should go after that one, and that one should go after that one, so it goes like smoothly, and the flow of the album goes well. So and I think most artists like to do that as well. So I mean, yeah,
I think it's great to see the importance of albums being, you know, whole albums being played, and people still making, bands like yourself going, okay, I'm going to make a whole album that tells a story. I can see bands that do it well, and they go, I'm making an album full of singles. But for me, I love the album side of thing. Can we chat quickly about Lindsay? Not quickly, but can we chat about Lindsay Schoolcraft's parts in this band? They were unreal. It's unreal to see her on there, and I've seen her in a few albums. I've seen Guy Garadia's one on there. Lindsay Schoolcraft had a great solo album. I think that one came out last year as well. It's good to see her really active at the moment. Can you tell me a little bit about her and her part on this?
Yeah, like I said, at first I met her on MySpace, like back in 2007, and we started chatting on there, and I was like, hey, she had that like that goth rock band that was called Mary and the Black Lamb, and I was like, if we ever do a tour with my previous band, we would like to do something with you, because she's from the province from Ontario, which is like just like the province just beside where I'm from, in Quebec in Canada. So we're like maybe like 8 hours apart. So it was, and so we planned to do a tour together, and we finally did it in I would think it was 2011. And I mean, we were like friends, and we talked a lot since then. And I mean, I think it was like a matter of time, because we always planned to do something together. And so when she said, all right, I'll do those tracks, and she's like super busy, so I don't want to impose on her. So I'm like, do you really want to do that? Do you have time? Do you want like me to prepare some stuff for you? Do you want me to I mean, I was like super happy to finally have her. So it was like kind of crazy when she got hired in Cradle of Filth, because it was like she was like one of my best friends from one of my best friends in kind of the music business, and she was like in indie bands, but now she's signed to like that big band, like which is like a cult band. I mean, Cradle of Filth is pretty big. It's probably one of the biggest metal bands out there. So it was like so crazy. I was like so proud of her, and I'm glad she had that experience, and I am super happy to see what she'll come up with next, because she has like her new band, which is called Antiqva, is like a super group. There's members from Ni Oblivious Carious, and which is Australian.
Yeah, great prog band.
Yeah, so I mean, there's the singer from that band, which is in Antiqva too. So I'm really excited to hear what she's their first album, they're working on it at the moment. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to hearing that as well. Like we'll discuss prog. I love how I'm mentioning prog quickly, but I love how good prog metal bands bring in jazz. You see some of these prog metal bands, as we were mentioning, jazz that do that, bring in the jazz and the violins, and it just feels so damn well. Have you got any plans playing live? What's it like over there in Canada? It's just...
Well, right now it's pretty much on lockdown,
yes.
And so there's a curfew also. So I mean, it's just the COVID era. So
yeah, that's it.
We'll just wait and see.
But that's what this COVID thing, I did mention this because I knew it was probably going to be like that. But just because people can't go, I can't go live shows, but that's even more so. You can go along and buy this vinyl, buy some merch, like actually really supporting the scene. Because for me, it's great to get a fucking couple of Spotify listens or whatever. But ultimately, albums are where it's at. Buying albums, if you really want to support an artist, you really want to support your scene, go buy the vinyl like we were talking, like Where Shadows Fade. Go buy that vinyl. Go buy some merch from her. You can get over to BandCamp. If you love your digitals, you can actually buy a digital copy. You play it on your phone as much as you bloody like. So,
yeah, and I think people never had so much time to invest in discovering new music and supporting artists. So, I mean, you don't really have anything to do on your evening. So I mean, just browse BandCamp and try to find something you like and support the bands if you can. So, and I mean, it's like the perfect timing to do that. So and also on BandCamp, since well, most of the bands on BandCamp are like releasing their albums by themselves. I mean, it's all like indie bands. So the money you spend on those bands goes directly to them. So there's no intermediary. I don't know how to say that.
It's a media. You got it right. Yeah. You got it right. There's no middleman taking fucking money. Exactly. And at the end of the day, like I can say this because I'm media. I think Spotify are just fucking feeding off of artists, expecting artists to give away music for free. Some comment he had last year, like artists need to make more music if they fucking want it. It's just stupid for me. I've been old school. If I want to support a band, I buy merch. And for me, it's the way to be to really fucking get behind the scene and support it. And BandCamp does that well. Like they do those BandCamp Fridays where everything goes to the band. And out of all of them, I think they're the best ones if you want to buy through.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Spotify model is more like they view music as a product. So you just have to pump songs and release one after the other, and they just want singles, and they want just songs to fill their platforms. They don't want art. They don't care about this. They just want some traffic on their website. So I mean, it's not, Spotify is not about the music. It's about like trying to create a platform to maybe have some profits and please the shareholders. So I mean, BandCamp, they really have some love for music.
Yeah, it is. I love going into BandCamp, and as you said, some days I'll go in and just fucking dive in and grab something I've never heard before, because I know where it's going. Herr, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. I could talk all day, but we're going to let you get about the rest of your night. Thank you very much. Any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything you want to add in I may have forgotten?
Well, I think we just said it. It's just like go support independent artists, because that's where the true passion is, and that's where I think you'll find the most interesting stuff. So just browse on BandCamp and find something you like and support the artists. So and also, well, thanks for having me, because it was like my first interview for this album release. So it was really cool to be on here. Yeah.
This has been an absolute pleasure. Everyone grab Where Shadows Fade, put it in your stereo, turn it up really bloody loud. The neighbours are going to want to hear this as well. Thank you very much for making some time to have a chat with me, my friend.
Well, thanks a lot. And well, thanks, mate. I think that's how you say this.
You got it, mate. You got it, mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers.